The $1,000,000 question that every property investor asks themselves is, how can I increase the value of my property?
Today we're going to be diving in what you should be doing to increase the value of your property.
So before we go into content, right, what is valuation and what's the importance of a valuation on a property?
In terms of value now, we need to understand that why do you want to know the value of this particular property, right? So now you find out that there's 3 different types of values, right? The first one would be the value from the municipal. The second one would be the value from the bank, and then the third one would be the market value, right? How much are people willing to buy the property for? So with the municipal value, the value will be tied against how much you would be paying in terms of your rates and taxes. So the more the value of the property, theoretically, the more the value of your property, the more you should actually be paying in terms of your rates and taxes. Then looking at your banks, the banks will then value the property in order for them to understand that what risk are they taking, so that they can understand that is this something they want to put themselves into. Then the last one is that the market value is how much are people willing to buy the property at. Now if you're looking at these 3 values and you really want to understand that which one is the best or which one makes sense for you, for me it would be the market value, of which how much would people want to buy the property for. Because it is of no sense if the bank values my property at 800,000 only to find out that if I was really to sell my property, it will only sell for 700,000.
All right, awesome, man. I'm really excited about today's video. So what we're going to be doing is that we'll be comparing it with our experience. So number 1 goes without saying, like with this one is everybody's all-time favorite, right? People are really fascinated about having a pool when it comes to a property. I remember we were in a situation whereby there was a pool that was dilapidated. The pool wasn't in good condition, right? Then what we then did is that we understood that within that area, properties are selling at 800,000, right? So now the thing is, yes, properties are selling at 800,000, and then now you've got a pool whereby you know that to fix this pool would probably cost you around 70,000. Now the question is, if you do fix this pool, will you be able to sell it at 870? The answer was no. So in this case, that's when we saw that practicality whereby on theory, someone saying that a pool will add value to your property. However, we knew that with every renovation cost that we did, we were at the ceiling. So every cent that we were going to take out more from our pocket getting it right, it was going to come out from our profit. So yes, we could have fixed that pool. However, we wouldn't get more than the 800,000. So what I'm saying when it comes to the pool and anything exterior, you need to be careful that yes, it can be a reason for you to sell faster, but there's a huge difference between selling your property faster and pushing your market value up.
And there was something that a lot of people need to understand, especially with regards to the pool situation, is that sometimes pool becomes a preference, right? So what I mean by a pool becoming a preference, that means that I need to maintain it more often, which ultimately means that I need to be spending more money. So some people prefer not to buy a pool. Because I remember with the last property that we sold, there was a lady that was saying that she was struggling to sell her property at 650,000. And our property didn't have a pool. But now someone actually bought our property because it has an outside cottage and it had an entertainment area. So those people that bought our property were more looking into a property that has an entertainment area rather than a pool.
What about entertainment area? Because you're speaking about a braai area. So there's a first-time buyer who's like, you know what, I would like to establish a braai area so that people can actually enjoy that. Do you think that would increase the value of the property?
I mean, looking at entertainment facility, I wouldn't say that it increases the value of the property, but what I would say is that it's another selling point that you would have. Right? So say for instance, if I have a property right now and it has an entertainment area, a braai space, already people that like hosting on their property are already seeing themselves having a party or having a lekker braai over there. Now, if that is the selling point of your property, then that might actually encourage people to buy your property rather than the other one. The second point that we wanted to talk about, right, is the kitchen and the bathroom. This one is a lot of people, right? A lot of people don't realize that when you are fixing a property, these are the 2 most important places that you need to really focus on. Now, when you're looking at a property, let's start with the kitchen. The kitchen is where the ladies love, right? Now, if you're making sure that your kitchen is modern and it has facilities whereby a woman or a lady or guys that like cooking really like, it makes your property more appealing to them, right? Now, if you want to sell your property and your kitchen is in a bad shape, right? A lot of people do know that if I'm going to be removing all of these old things and putting in the new cupboards, I'm actually going to be spending anything north of 50,000. Now, looking at that particular person that's buying that property, already if I'm spending 50,000 on a property, that means that it's a fix-upper. So now, what would then be the use of me buying a property at market value only to spend additional 50,000 on that kitchen? So that's something that a lot of people need to understand. And then let's go to the bathroom. With the bathroom, I think a lot of people do not understand or take for granted how much your main bedroom needs an ensuite.
Yeah.
Now, we've been in a situation whereby we bought a property that doesn't have an ensuite. The number one question that we ask right now is that, does the main bedroom have a ensuite? If it doesn't have an ensuite, then that becomes a problem for a lot of people, because if I'm spending 1.1 million and it doesn't have an ensuite, it then becomes a problem for me that, why am I actually spending so much money only to have to leave my room in order for me to go to the toilet?
Yeah, man. For me, right, the kitchen and the bathroom are two places whereby they win sales. I've seen that with a couple of sales that we did, is that you see how when you do the viewing, how the family reacts towards the kitchen and how the family reacts towards the bathroom. It's actually priceless, especially when you do put in those finishing touches. But then we need to be careful again as investors, because yes, we might say that this will help you sell faster, but ultimately we're not saying that a situation whereby put in maximum dollar, so just put in like 150,000 for one bathroom and then you'll be able to sell it 300,000 more. It doesn't work that way. So as investors, we just need to be really careful, especially with regards to what we spoke about in terms of you can sell it faster through these developments or through these enhancements on your property. However, it's not necessarily saying that it's gonna sell way above. So if I'm putting in 150, I'll be getting 300, because that's what we've noticed, that the basic rule of thumb is that just make sure that your property is neat. Just make sure that you're constantly maintaining your property, so that when it comes to selling, you're not in a situation whereby, yeah, I'm going to put in 100,000 and then I know that I'll just add on 200,000 to make that money back. It doesn't work like that when it comes to property.
Now, take us to the last point.
The last one is the extra rooms, right? So this one is really interesting. When we're talking about the extra rooms, we're talking about a 5-bedroom versus a 6-bedroom or even a 7-bedroom. I've noticed something, Lebo, that the more bedrooms you have, and if it is approved by the municipal, bedrooms and bathrooms, is that the faster your property will sell, especially if you're pricing it correctly. So yes, I've seen this, and if you do go to Property 24, you'll notice that your single bedroom versus your 2 bedrooms, there's a difference. 3 bedrooms, there's another difference. 4, 5, 6. So ultimately what we're saying is that we can see a clear difference when it comes to that, because people will look at how big the space is. Then number 2, they'll be looking at the number of bedrooms you have. So the more bedrooms you do have, I've seen this with our experience, as I did mention, is that the higher it does sell. But the main thing is that we need to be careful that you do not overcapitalize, because we don't want a situation now whereby you've got 40 rooms under 250 meters squared, and then you want to sell your property at about 5 million, whereas everybody's selling that at about 350.
Yeah.
That's something that we need to be careful of when it comes to that.
Yeah, and just to sum up everything right now, right? Whenever you're looking at a property, you need to understand that what is the ceiling in that particular area.
Yeah.
So say for instance, like Neo said, if you're looking at a property in an area whereby we are able to sell a 3-bedroom at 500,000, let's understand that if I am actually going to be putting add-ons onto this property, I should actually budget that if I do want to sell the property, it doesn't actually exceed the 500,000. Because now we find a lot of people renovating properties. After renovating the property, they want to sell it way more than what the market actually allows. And now at the end of the day, you would be at a loss.
100%. So it's very important that we do take this thing into account as property investors, because if we do go blindfolded without understanding what is value and how that affects us, ultimately we are putting our business at risk.
Now, to confuse everybody that didn't watch this far, if you did watch this far, please do put a pro down on the comment section, man. We really like seeing that you are engaged with the content.
On the 7th of September, we are hosting a property workshop. It's literally like less than 3 weeks away. Hoping that you guys will be there. It will be in Pretoria at the Waterkloof Country Club.
tickets are only selling for 550, and then if you're coming through with a partner, they are selling at 900. So you would actually be saving.
Can't wait to see you there. Best like a pro.
With no